Yo, what is it, do Persian gang? It is your main man, the source, Kasuna here. Now, I know I've taken a while to get to this guide video. I am sick right now, so excuse me if I sound a little bit weird or if I stumble on my words a little bit. But I'm here today with a guide video. This is actually my first guide video for Dokkan Battle. So I'm trying to be like as informed as I can. I pre-researched everything and made sure that I can be as accurate as possible when delivering information to you guys, so that you guys can beat these new stages with, I won't say ease, just as minimal difficulty as you can. Like I want to help. My goal is to help with team building, essentially. So first thing I want to get into is I'm only going to be covering stages 21 through 30 because these stages these stages have been out for a while, and so most people are likely to have beaten them. But if you guys do want to see guides for these stages, do let me know. I will definitely push out a part 2 and a part 3 or whatever is necessary, so that you guys can have the information or help that you need. But this guide will overall cover the majority of Super Battle Road. So I want to start with going over like what's in these stages. Okay, so these new category stages, I think personally that the ones that were the easiest for me, mostly because I just have the units to beat them on both JP and Global, were Universe Survival Saga and Androids. Androids and Universe Survival Saga were probably the two easiest for me. The hardest ones for me were Future Saga and Ginyu Force. And so I want to get into the Ginyu Force because the Ginyu Force is kind of exempt from most of the stuff you need to know about the other stages. Ginyu Force, the clear-cut strategy is if you farmed up all the Ginyu Force characters and you have the physical Ginyu, you want to run Tech LR Ginyu with physical Ginyu on one rotation, and then you want to run Tech LR Ginyu with the Int Ginyu on another rotation. And you want to replace Birder with the physical LR Ginyu. You can replace Birder or Raccoon. I think neither of them are really necessary, but I personally did not use Birder. And so that's the clear-cut strategy. If you don't have physical Ginyu, that's okay. It's just going to be a little bit harder. You can just use Birder, and instead of like having the physical Ginyu with the Tech Ginyu, you have Birder with the Tech Ginyu. And I personally would just keep Birder in the first slot when there's not a lot of attacks, and then when there are a lot of attacks, you put him in the second slot. So let's get into just some general strategies for Super Battle Road. So as you can see, Super Battle Road is very heavy on fights like these where there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Like if you scroll down here, most of them are just 3 fights, 3 character fights. But Super Battle Road can be pretty heavy on massive amounts of people. And so the usual strategy is to focus off the ones with the least HP. So for example, in Universe Survival Saga, you'd want to target off, I believe, Kaba first, if you want to focus off the ones with the least HP. Me personally, I focused off Hit. I believe he hits the hardest here. I focused off Hit, then I got Botamo, Botamagetta, then I got Kale, then I got Kaba, etc. And so you don't have to follow the strategies exactly as I'm saying, because I'm just gonna give you guys a general strategy, a general consistency of things that you would want to use in Super Battle Road. So let's get into the first thing that I want to talk about in Super Battle Road: damage reduction. Now, damage reduction is really, really good in Super Battle Road. As opposed to stacking defense, I think damage reduction is way more useful in Super Battle Road than stacking defense, because Super Battle Road is not going to be a longer event like the Legendary Goku event or Infinite Dragon Ball History. With Infinite Dragon Ball History, yes, stacking defense will be better, obviously, but damage reduction for Super Battle Road is almost a must. You almost really want damage reduction more than defense in Super Battle Road, because damage reduction, it's more flexible in Super Battle Road because the enemies, you're basically guaranteed that if you can mitigate damage, you know that you have a guaranteed cushion. And so that's why you see, like if you are a Reddit user, that's why you tend to see people taking characters like ItzKasuna, characters that are usually regarded as like not that good. Or you see people using Tapion here, Tapion and Hurtigarn here. I personally think that out of the damage reduction units, the best ones for Super Battle Road, just in general, because they fit into a lot of categories, would probably be this guy, this guy, and this guy. Because Tapion, he fits into movie bosses, Giant's form. Let's see, actually, I believe he fits into at least 3 of those category Super Battle Road stages. These movie heroes, movie bosses, Giant form, Resurrected Warriors. Now, movie heroes doesn't have a Super Battle Road stage yet, but these 3 have stages, so you'll definitely be able to use Tapion in these 3. And Tapion's definitely worth the usage because he gets defense plus 50% and damage reduction, and he lowers attack by 20% for 3 turns. And so you can get it up to a 40% attack lowering, which I know that's not the exact percent because I believe it stacks over itself. It's not additive. It's not an additive lowering, but if it is, I'm wrong, I guess. I mean, I don't really look into the game's mechanics that much. And then it's not even just the damage reduction, it's Hurtigarn. Hurtigarn can be really, really clutch. Like, the moment you drop below 50% HP, oh, Hurtigarn's gonna be carrying. But yeah, that's the main difference between stacking defense and damage reduction. Now, not to say that stacking defense is completely useless in Super Battle Road. Like, when you get characters like Kale and Caulifla, the new Gohan, you know, this guy even, because, well, Goku and Gohan even, because they lower attack as well. And then you have Krillin, who stuns. You have this guy who can see where the enemies are attacking, you know, stuff like that is not completely useless. This guy, he mitigates anti-stacks defense. It's like, it's not completely useless after a certain point. But that usually goes for like if they have a really high base defense stat. Like with this guy here, most people that are running LR Vegito Blue to begin with have him Rainbow, and his base defense stat is really high. Even non-Rainbowed, his base defense stat is really high. And so it's like taking him into Super Battle Road, you're going to be getting a lot of defense off of raising your, off of getting your 12 key super attack. And even then, I don't even think you have to focus on stacking your defense in Super Battle Road with this character. I think he just tanks really decently without it. You just don't want to really take super attacks with them. But yeah, that's why I think that's why a lot of people take damage reduction units to Super Battle Road. Damage reduction, Super Battle Road will save your life. Overall, I'd go for damage reduction before I'd go for defense when it comes to Super Battle Road. But that's just me, a personal preference. I find it easier with damage reduction. Lowering attack. Now, I actually mentioned this. This is probably the best thing for Super Battle Road. I put this above stunning. I put this above damage reduction. And the reason is, if you've ever seen, well, if you've seen my video where I know items, well, yeah, I did a no items Android Super Battle Road one. And the main thing you probably see me doing was lowering attack. And lowering attack, it's really, it's so good. Like, honestly, I think that lowering attack is, yes, it's not going to be effective in the beginning of the fight, but when you have characters that already have damage reduction, or they have high defense, or they dodge, or things like that, you know, just general things like LR Goku and Frieza. I believe that they mitigate. I don't know. Actually, I don't think they mitigate. They get really high defense. They get defense plus 77 here, and they lower attack, and they also lower attack and defense here. And so with this card, you're going to not only be defending really well, even without dupes, you're going to be lowering their attack, and you're still going to be tanking. And then they also do extra damage when you have when the enemy is in an attack down status. So that's why I think lowering attack is really good for Super Battle Road. The reason getting into why it's better is mostly it's just when you factor in the enemy's attack stats, like they're not stated in the game, but when you factor in the enemy's attack stats, that's lowered quite a lot when you lower their attack. Like I cannot exaggerate this. It's lowered quite a lot. And then like if you have defensive units on the team, they're going to be taking like double digits. Like even if they don't have damage mitigation, after you have the enemy's attack lowered enough, most of your characters are going to be taking double digits. Like I actually had a run on global off screen where Cell Jr. had lowered the enemy's attack so much that he was taking double digits, and this was free dupe. And if you've even seen this card does not have well, that's plus 100 defense, but when you look at the base defense stat free dupe, it's not that high, so it's still not like you're really going to be tanking unless you lower the attack. So yeah, I can't really get into the exact specifics of why I personally like lowering attack, but I do think that the strategy that's universally used in Super Battle Road are damage reduction and lowering attack. And then like you have Gogeta here, you have Android 21, we have Android 18, and she's really good. And then for transformation boost, this guy, like a lot of people sleep on this guy. I do think that this guy, he's going to be a defensive liability on the team, but him lowering attack and defense, it's like he's still going to be really useful for Super Battle Road. So again, like when you see in the card super attack or passive that they lower attack and defense when they attack the enemy, just consider a way of using them on the team that might help you in Super Battle Road, because honestly it could be the change, it could be the difference between finishing the run or not finishing the run. Like these guys, my favorite card in the game. I'd honestly make the argument that this card, after a while, this card is probably going to be the best card in the game, honestly, because they do so much. They lower attack and defense. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but like they do so much. They dodge, they lower attack and defense. Their defense is even pretty good. They even have decent defense. I have mine with the dupe. And they defend even before lowering attack and defense. They get attack and defense from the passive. It's just crazy. And like, yeah. And then like, it's just remember that when you see that they lower attack in their super attack or passive, definitely give them a try. If it doesn't work, then we move on to another strategy here, which is stunning. Now, this is a strategy that's been around for Super Battle Road since like the first Super Battle Road stages came out. Like, stunning in Super Battle Road, it's not as important as it used to be, because like I said, damage reduction and attack lowering. But there is one stage out of these stages where it's actually almost the most important thing, because Future Saga, I don't believe Future Saga has any. I know they have damage reduction. I don't believe that they have any units that lower attack, and I could be wrong, but I don't believe they have any good units that lower attack. But that's why I'm making this guide video, because this is giving you multiple different strategies. Anyway, let's get back to the focus here. If you're playing on JP, this guy actually just got an easy A, and he's actually a beast in Super Battle Road. Like take him on Pure Sands, movie heroes, even though movie heroes doesn't have a stage yet. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, this guy, he he's gonna be really good when he comes to global for Super Battle Road, and he's already good on JP for Super Battle Road. This card is a defensive liability, but I think that if you really strategize with your rotations, it's not gonna be that bad, because I used her on my global Super Battle Road run. On JP, I used the Int one. The Int was more reliable, just because she dodges. But this one, she's really good in terms of stunning, but that's really all she's got. In Super Battle Road, in Future Saga Super Battle Road though specifically, they have a lot of stunners. They have Mai, they have LR Trunks and Mai. Like, I know that they have I literally just said that they have a lot, but I haven't found any. I just know that those two are really popular for Future Saga Super Battle Road, and most strategies with Future Saga, you'd be taking them if you have them. Like, if you don't have them, that's fine. There's like other strategies for Future Saga Super Battle Road. Like, again, like if you look at the lineup of cards here, you have this guy who gets extra attack and defense when there's multiple enemies. This guy who reduces damage per turn. Stacks defense. Like, he's not going to be as good in Super Battle Road, but this guy raises attack and defense on Super. But that's just for like 3 turns, I believe. And then this guy raises defense on Super. Like, stuff like that. Like, this team has really good ways, well, really good strategies like damage reduction, stuff like that, seals. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. That's actually going to be the last part of this video. Stuff like that. Like, they don't have a great amount of cards, but you have options for Future Saga Super Battle Road. It was definitely the hardest stage for me, so don't feel bad if you can't beat it right now. You will definitely be able to beat it in the future, especially if you take this guide into mind. So I'm going to get into the last part here, sealing. Now, a popular trend with sealers is that they are either really defensive, they're a support unit, or they mitigate damage, or they dodge. So usually with sealers, they have a 100% chance, as you see here. It's very self-explanatory. They just prevent your enemy from being able to super attack. And so, yeah, this could be really good for like Potara, Super Battle Road. I don't think Potara has any sealers. Yeah, it doesn't have any sealers. But like, if you have like a Super Battle Road stage where you're taking like agility or physical Super Vegito, and you want to be guaranteed those counters, you could just take a sealer and you're guaranteed that, pretty much. Like Majin Buu Saga, for Majin Buu Saga, you have this guy. If you get this transformation off, and then you have this guy, and it honestly, and you have a lot of options for Majin Buu Saga, where you can seal and stuff like that. Honestly, sealing, it's not that great in Super Battle because normals are going to be doing 100k on most characters anyway, unless you have, you know, damage mitigation or high defense or both. But just keep in mind, sealing, it can be useful. It can be really useful. So yeah, I think that's really gonna be it as far as this guide goes. Let me know if I missed out on anything, or if there's anything specific you want me to cover. I can cover that in another video. Well, without any further ado, thank you guys for watching this video. Please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my other videos. Anyways, peace out. You guys have a nice day.